Do you still recall your first meeting, with Phil?
My first meeting?
No, I just did one for a drummer magazine earlier. That's about it.
I just remember like 17, you know, he was hanging around, like his band practiced right by our band. We all practiced in a bunch of warehouses, and he just came in and he was very social, like just came in, just hanging out, what's up, and I think he was impressed by me because I had like a real hot girlfriend, at the time. I was like 17 and she was like 21, and he was like, whoa, like what's up with that, and I don't know. We ended up hanging. I don't really remember our first meeting really. Just I remember like hanging out. We just hang out, drinking, talking about, we were both really into thrash bands and punk bands, and just talking about music and stuff.
But I think you played in a band together, Violence.
Mm-hmm.
How was that? Was it the working relationship? What is it comparable to the way you work now, or was it completely different?
I mean, it's different. It's a different style. Violence was very much rooted in like kind of straight up thrash, pure thrash. Machine Head's, rooted in thrash, but it's got a lot of groove elements, got a lot of just different elements, more gothic, elements, and I think it's just creating music. I mean, the way we write isn't any different. It's just like him bringing in riffs or me bringing in riffs, and we'll just kind of bounce ideas off each other. And our tastes have grown and our ideas have expanded, and that's really the only difference. It's cool, it's great to have had like this person that I grew up with. And I basically learned how to play guitar with Phil, as a kid. Like we learned how to play guitar together, and I think that really shows now. And I think that's one of the biggest things he brings to the band. It's just like this kind of guitar team, thing. But I mean, to me, it's like, he's been in the band almost 6 years now, so like it doesn't seem like he's not the new guy,
No, of course, but did
for
you...
us especially. I mean, and I think for most fans, he's, I hear it all the time. Like people just say it all the time. Like it just seems like he's been the guitar player that's been here all the time.
Yeah. Well, I have to ask, what is the first riff that you learned and that he learned? What was your first riff you learned on the guitar? Do you still recall?
The first riff that I learned on guitar? Sweet Leaf by Black Sabbath.
Okay. Was it hard to do back then for you?
Oh yeah, it was really hard.
What part especially?
There was no part. I was just in the bow, do, 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 do. That was it. That was the hard part.
And what did you do? What did you play together then while learning?
Oh, did we learn? I don't know. Together? I don't remember the first riff we learned together. That was the first riff I learned how to play.
Okay. Did you stay in touch with him the first years of Machine Head, or were you completely separate ways? Or?
No, they never told us what to do.
Not really. We had a falling out. Me and everybody in Violence had a falling out.
Because
I left. Yeah. And the band was basically over. They broke up soon after I left. But they went on for a while. Violence and Machine Head actually did one show together, and Machine Head played over Violence. So that was like a great victory for me, And then he got a new band right after that, and they would open for Machine Head, so his new band would play. So we were kind of like, we weren't really friends anymore, but like we were still cool with each other, In 2002, we did a bunch of dates in Europe, like headlining in festivals, and we were headlining the Full Force Festival for the first time. And he was going to retire, like he was going to quit the music business. He was tired of, trying to make things happen, and they just weren't, it wasn't working out. He wanted to go do other things. And so when he joined for that run, it was kind of like his last hurrah. And he was just like, it'll be the biggest shows I've ever played in my life, and it'll be with some good friends. He was friends with everybody else in the band too. And, so it wasn't like he was going to join. It was kind of like his farewell.
Okay.
And for us, it was cool because we weren't really looking for anybody to join at the time. You know, we were just going to remain a three-piece. And but once we started jamming together, I mean, even by like the second show, it was like, this is killer. You know, like this feels fucking so good. But the tour ended, and he went on his way. You know, and we didn't at that point. We never thought that we would jam with Phil ever again. You know.
But when did you think, hey, maybe we should ask him?
I mean, we wanted to. I mean, we talked about it the last day of the tour. I'm like, God, I don't want this to end. Like, this seems like it's right. But, you know, he had other things in his life. And so, you know, we'd go to shows, and we'd see him at shows, and he'd come up, and he'd be all hammered. And he'd be like, so, when are you going to ask me to join Machine Head? I'm like, when am I going to ask? When are you going to fucking be ready to join Machine Head? You know, like, shit like that. So, you know, after a few of those, after about 9 months, you know, things changed in his life, and he was like, you know, I'm willing to commit to this. You know, I'm willing to do this. This is music is my life. You know, like this is what I want to do. And we were like, fucking get over here. You know.